Hello, hello. This is Patty Joe. I backed this up a little because when I started looking to see where the next part picked up, the judge actually shuts him down, which is kind of good, kind of nice. I didn't look at the whole thing, so I don't know how it worked out for her, but let's take a look. First of all, let's go ahead and we know this is going to jump back on me, so this is right after the priest.
I would like to get through one more witness, but I want to take a short comfort break for everyone, so I'll rise for the jury. Thank you. Mr. Brooks, not now.
Not allowed to.
Not now. The jury is in this courtroom, and you will show respect for them and for this court.
Respect for them would be
Mr. Brooks,
telling them the truth.
stop. I'm putting you on notice that you are on the verge of this court creating a curative instruction about your frivolous arguments. I will not have you claim legitimacy for what are debunked, frivolous, sovereign arguments.
Then
that is why
prove it.
your questions
Prove it.
are being
Prove that it's
objected
frivolous.
to,
Prove
and
that
why
it's frivolous. Prove it.
all the cases that we've already referenced, sir. We are in recess. We'll be back
Then
in
prove
5
it.
minutes. Thank you, everyone.
I don't agree to a estoppel. Can you prove?
Estoppel. Oh my god. I'm trying to use a big word. Oh my god, he's still going. The best thing to do to a narcissist is shut him out. Shut him out. The best thing to do to a narcissist is stop. He doesn't know what to do with it. He's going to have a temper tantrum. Okay. He's going to have the truth. He would know the truth if it walked up to him and smacked him in the nose.
He can come back tomorrow, but he's been here twice already.
No, we'll keep going. I prepped the jury for that yesterday, so we're good. I'm going to have the jury brought out. All right. Bring the jury in, Madam Clerk.
And
I object to that.
so what? Nobody cares.
To the timing?
Yes.
Your objections noted. We're going to make up for lost time from yesterday.
So can we adjust the subject matter jurisdiction?
No,
then,
we
since
cannot.
we talk about that? We're not going to address that either. That's still not going to be proven, right? It is frivolous stuff.
Yes. It's frivolous.
That's gonna get pressed every time. So I've yet to prove subject matter jurisdiction, any jurisdiction at all, right?
The jury will disregard the
We have yet to agree with Darrell on subject matter jurisdiction. Let's just put that out there.
comments being made by Mr. Brooks at this time. They are a mischaracterization of the law.
Absolutely not.
Yes, they are.
They are absolutely not.
All right.
They are.
All right, thank you, everyone. Please be seated. The state may call its next witness.
The state would call Lucas Hallmark.
All right, Mr. Hallmark, if you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is on my right, up one riser. When you get there, please remain standing. Raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's on my left, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record, and then spell each.
Lucas Hallmark, Lukas Hallmark.
Hold on a second. It would really help if our audio's on.
I
I'm just going to have you do that again. If you would please state Your first and last names for the record. And then
Lucas,
spell, sorry.
Lucas Hallmark, LUKASHALLMARK.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
City of Waukesha Police Department.
What's your position?
I'm a detective
How long have you been with the City of Waukesha Police Department?
for approximately 15 years.
Has that been the entire time you've been in law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, he looks like so young. Look at him.
Direct your attention to November 21st of 2021. Were you at the City of Waukesha Christmas Parade?
I was.
Were you there as a law enforcement officer, a spectator, or participant?
I was there as a participant.
And what group were you with?
I was with the Catholic Communities of Waukesha.
Who were you there with? I mean, other than the Catholic communities, were you with your family?
I was.
And generally, I don't need names, but was your wife present?
My wife and my 4 kids at the time, yes.
And what are the ages of your kids?
At that time, they were 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Wow.
And approximately how many people were walking with the Catholic communities of Waukesha?
I believe there was about 45 or 46 individuals that were walking with us.
Okay. I'm going to show you a photograph and just ask you if you recognize it. It's Exhibit 121.
As a reminder, the monitors in the jury box have about a 20-second delay, so we need to be mindful of that as we show exhibits to them. They do come on the screen, I think, a little bit more quickly, but there was rapid succession previously, so.
And I'd ask that also be published to the jury at this time. This exhibit has previously been admitted into evidence.
Permission granted. And why doesn't the jury let me know when that exhibit comes up on the monitors in front of you? All right, thank you.
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Whew. Sir, do you know where this picture was taken?
Yes, that was taken at Main Street and I believe East Avenue.
What day was it taken?
That was taken on November 21st, 2021.
And there are boxes with names that are associated with people through a red arrow. Do you see that?
Yes.
Overruled, he may answer.
Was that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And as you review those names and the people that those names are associated with, is that exhibit accurate?
Objection, leading the witness.
Sustain us to the form of the question.
Sir, do you know the people whose names appear on exhibit 121?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled, you may answer.
Yes.
And the arrows, do you see arrows on that exhibit?
Yes.
And they're going from a person to a name. Do you see that?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled, the exhibit's previously been received. He may answer.
Yes.
To clarify, Jason Peckloff, do you see him in this picture?
I do.
Can you? There's a touch screen in front of you. If you can just circle where he's at in this picture. How about Camila Perez Gonzalez? If you can circle her. Maria Alvarez Dominguez. Adair Lopez Revelar. Jose Perales Alvarez. And if we can clear the screen, and then Juan Marquez. Thank you. We can clear the screen.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second. This came in. It says from Evan JJK. So, hi. You should watch the way DB interrogated Miss Bonestill. Is that before or after? Because I'm trying to go like within days secession, So one after another. So we are now, I believe, on day 6. So when does he interrogate Ms. Bonestell? And interrogate is really harsh because these are just supposed to be questioning a witness. So I believe you that he was disgusting. He intimidated her, badgered her until he watched her leave, and you could see what he was thinking while he was watching her in his monitor. Disgusting emoji, throw up emoji. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I totally agree. I don't remember where she was in this, whether we have to go back to look at her or whether we just can continue forward. But I'm going to watch for that and I'll look out for that. Thank you so much. And here, John, I don't know how to say your last name, and I'm not going to try to butcher it. Opper told him about grounds. She did, but he doesn't care or listen. He very much cherry picks what he's going to listen to. You are so right. Him being dumb doesn't help either. You're a pretty direct guy, huh? You are. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Are we done with this, Elizabeth?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks for the comments. So cool.
Did you know the names of most, if not all, of the participants who were marching with the Catholic communities of Waukesha that day?
Most of them, yes.
At some point, did you hear some type of commotion behind you?
I did.
Can you describe for the jury what you heard?
We were walking westbound on Main Street, and near the area of about 400 to 409 West Main Street, my attention was directed towards large amounts of screaming coming from behind us, so to our east. At that point, I looked over my left shoulder. At that point, there was still some folks from our group that were behind us, so it wasn't clear, but over the tops of them I could see like a roof of a red vehicle traveling also to the east, coming towards us. I'm sorry, to the west, coming towards us.
What were your initial thoughts?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
The initial thoughts in this guy's own head is hearsay. Does Darrell have dissociative identity disorder? Not that I am like making fun of that, because I know someone very close to me who does actually have that. Like, I've witnessed the it's not really as cut and dry as everybody thinks it is. So, and I'm not going to go into it because of the nature of the person being a juvenile, but it's very clear when episodes are occurring. And how can one's own thoughts be hearsay? Is it just because your thoughts are so disjointed and dissociated? I don't know. Even an evil person has to dissociate from some sort of emotion to act like Darrell Brooks.
You may answer.
My initial thought that came into my mind at that time when the screaming occurred was that there was probably a lost motorist and there was a vehicle traveling in the parade that shouldn't have been there.
Have you ever worked a Christmas parade in Waukesha?
I have.
Relevancy.
It's relevant. His experience. I mean, we can tell the difference between the priest and this gentleman, and again, but his first initial response is he is thinking it's somebody lost. He's not thinking it's something brutal and violent. He's gonna lob onto it pretty closely.
Overruled. You may answer.
You said you have?
I don't recall specifically the Christmas parade. I worked other events in downtown Waukesha.
Have you ever worked a 4th of July parade?
Objection, relevancy to this incident.
Let me strike the question.
Okay, go ahead.
Have you ever worked a parade in the city of Waukesha?
I don't recall a specific parade, but I worked Friday Night Live, which is an event where they usually close down the downtown area for vehicular traffic and it's pedestrians only. So that was where I was drawing my recollection to that incident.
Are there some times when there are barricades set up and a vehicle will come into the area that they're not supposed to come in?
That does occur, yes.
What would law enforcement do in that case?
Usually stop the vehicle and direct them to either stop or remove them when it's safe to do so.
Have you ever been present where the vehicle doesn't stop?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
No.
When you said that you heard screaming, can you describe for the jury what you mean? Because we're at a parade, so I'm assuming that there's some screaming.
Objection. Leading the witness.
Sustains to the form of the question.
Can you describe for the jury if the screaming stood out to you?
Yes,
Objection.
it was.
Leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, it was something different than was actually occurring at the parade. And just to give you a perspective, at this point, we were actually almost done marching in the parade, which was actually a very big relief to me because I didn't want to be in the parade in the first place. So I was actually very relieved at that point. So yes, at that point, this had caused some sort of commotion that was not particularly used to that we've already incurred through the entire parade.
And did you notice anything different about your surroundings as you heard the screaming?
Objection. I asked the form of that question and it was answered.
Overruled. He may answer.
What?
Can you just repeat the question, please?
Sure. Did you notice anything other than the screaming that seemed unusual when that happened?
Objection. Different question.
What?
Overruled. I'm not sure what the objection is, but you may answer.
Clear with the objection.
So after my initial thought of that vehicle was just a lost motorist, or they didn't know actually what was going on, that thought faded very quickly, and I realized that something was drastically wrong based on the fact that that vehicle was traveling at a significant rate of speed towards our direction.
When you first saw the vehicle or the top of the red vehicle, approximately how far was it away from you?
When I first looked back and saw it, I would estimate it to be about, I would say approximately 200 feet. My recollection is that it was near Curry Insurance.
You testified already as to where your position was at that time, correct?
Yes.
Where were you in relationship to the group that you were walking with? Where were you within that group?
Sure. So our group, we were just kind of walking together behind a white banner. There was no set, I guess, method of us walking. We actually, as we were continued down the parade route, some of us moved forward, some of us moved back, depending on how the kids were doing. But at that particular time, I was near towards the back, so I would say the middle of the back of the group, and more towards the center of the road.
And which shoulder did you look back over when you heard the screaming?
I turned to my left.
And that's when the vehicle was approximately 200 feet away?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
What did you see next?
The vehicle came, I recall the vehicle coming right at to where we were walking. It started hitting folks in our group, and the only thing that I could remember doing was I had my 3-year-old in my left hand, and I had my 9-year-old in my right hand. As we were walking down the parade route, my 7-year-old was kind of walking in front of us at the time, and I remember realizing that we were going to get hit, and it was going to come very quickly. And so I grabbed my 3-year-old as hard as I could, and I threw him towards the curb. At the same time, I tried to grab Benjamin at that point and throw him with my 3-year-old.
Oh, Benjamin, is he the 7-year-old?
Yes.
And he was in front of you, you testified?
Objection.
Correct.
Leading the witness.
Overruled. The answer may stand.
To the best of my memory, yes.
Yes, okay. And you stated that you had your 9-year-old in your on your right side. What's the name of your 9-year-old?
Elliot.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. I'm sorry, what was the name?
Elliot.
Thank
Elliot
you.
Hallmark.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is it's even though he is more trained and you can hear he's got an estimate for distance, his memory is not as blocked and protected as the priest's was. So there are some differences, but you can see here that he has some emotional distress with this too. And that just goes to prove firemen, paramedics, police officers, all of EMS, including paramedics and EMTs, and the like. This stuff affects those people too. They're not emotionless. They can. There's like a switch maybe, or like a discipline where you can stop the emotion to act, but not even that's not automatic. That is learned, and it may be learned faster in some people than in others. It may be recognized or acknowledged more in some people than in others. I mean, a lot of firemen don't like to admit that they have to turn off emotion, but they're emotional. Trust me, they're emotional. If you see a fireman pull someone out of a fire, give them over to a paramedic, and the paramedic's not able to revive them, that fireman is wrecked inside. They are full of emotion, and they may or may not be able to acknowledge it. They may take it someplace else. I don't know, but I've never been handed a patient from a fireman and not had them want to know and follow up and watch me and keep an eye on what was going on. I've never had it happen. So that's what I want to say about that. Plus, throwing your kids, he knew what was happening. He may have initially thought this was a mistake, but then he started hurling kids like bowling balls to save them because that's what he thought was best. That's a fairly drastic turn in a quick second. Darrell says it's
When you saw the vehicle and as it was coming towards you, could you estimate the speed that the vehicle was traveling?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
I estimated the vehicle traveling about 30 to 40 miles an hour.
What is the speed limit in that area of Main Street?
25 miles per hour.
So you threw your 3-year-old to your left, you stated?
Towards the curb, which would have been to the south.
And how about Elliot?
I don't remember at that point what happened with Elliot. As the vehicle passed us, I don't know if he got ripped out of my arms when the vehicle came through. I just remember that I kind of got, as I turned to my left, I pivoted on my left foot. I got clipped to my left foot, and the vehicle passed us, but I don't recall what happened with Elliot.
How about Ben?
Ben, I saw him stumble and kind of roll from where the vehicle came towards the curb to the south.
And when you said you got clipped, what clipped you?
Objection.
Overruled.
It had to have been the vehicle. I had an abrasion on my left heel, and then I had white sneakers on that night, and they had black marks along where I had my abrasion on that same part.
Okay, so this he's probably not even on the list. But even somebody who jumps out of the way and falls, that is an injury from the incident. You may not have been struck by the car, and they may or may not have included you in the list, but you're hurt as a, oh my God.
What was that consistent with, those black marks?
I would guess the vehicle tire.
I wonder if Darrell's going to
Where
acknowledge
was your
him.
wife?
It's an injured party.
She was standing a little bit behind and then to the left of us. So she would have been a little further at that point, a little bit further to the east and then to the south.
Now, in terms of the path that the vehicle was traveling prior to it striking your group, can you describe that for the jury in terms of was it on the north side of the road or the south side? Or to explain it to someone like me, if you're traveling down the parade route, was it on your left or on your right?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
As it was coming towards us, as I was walking initially, we were kind of in the center of the road. So when I saw the vehicle coming, I kind of moved to the left and threw my kids to the left. So we were kind of left of the center line, so to the left, as you described, and towards the south. But the vehicle had passed me on my right.
And did you say that you observed anyone get hit that was behind you?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
I don't recall seeing anyone specifically getting hit. I do remember hearing sounds of the vehicle striking objects, and the only objects in the road were people at the time.
Oh.
What happened next, or what do you remember next?
I remember turning to my wife and asking her if all the children were okay, and she looked back at me and said that she didn't know where our son Elliot was. And at that point, I couldn't see him either, so I began running up and down Main Street trying to locate where he was.
Did you have eyes on your 3 other children?
I did.
And what did you do with those 3 kids?
I had those children stay with my wife while I went and tried to find Elliot.
Did you find Elliot?
It was some time after. I would estimate it to be a minute to 2 minutes after the vehicle had passed, but I had located him on the road further to the south, almost immediately towards the curb was, being tended to by some individuals that had covered him up with a blanket.
While you were looking for Elliot, did you see anyone else on the ground?
I did.
Can you describe for the jury what you observed?
There was a lot of individuals laying on the road as you look back, and I remember specifically seeing Father Pat Happy laying on the ground. I remember he was, at that point when I had saw him, I thought he was deceased because he wasn't moving at all, so I would assume that he was knocked unconscious. I continued past, and then I remember specifically seeing a younger female who I recall to be as Yamilet Perales laying in the roadway. And 2, I thought she was also deceased because there was blood coming from like her ears, and she wasn't moving either.
Did you see anyone else before you found your son Elliot?
There was other people, but I don't specifically recalling at that particular time, no.
Once you found Elliot, what observations did you make of him?
At this point, he was awake. The person that was tending to him indicated that he was knocked unconscious. So when I had found him, he actually regained consciousness, but he was crying and complaining of injuries to his back and to his hip and to his leg.
What did you do then?
Pretty much just, I was told by the individuals that were caring for him that that we needed to keep him there for safety purposes, for like C-spine, making sure they didn't have any significant neck injuries or back injuries, and that we needed to wait there until paramedics arrived.
Did they eventually come and assess Elliot?
Yes. During this time, I had spoken with my wife, and the decision was made that she was going to go get the car because it was, at this point, it was chaos in downtown Waukesha, and I'd actually made contact with a couple of different officers that I knew from the police department, and one of the comments was we didn't know how we were going to get a lot of these injured folks from the street to the hospital that needed care. So a decision was made that I was going to send my wife to go get the vehicle so she can remove our 3 kids that were mobile and remove them from the scene. At that time, I didn't know the extent of the injuries to Benjamin.
And that's what I was just going to ask you about. Were there any observable injuries to Benjamin at the time
immediately following the car going through the group?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
I knew that he had been injured because when I had looked over to where he was over on the curb, I had seen that he had some facial injuries, swollen eyes, some lacerations. But he was calm and he was collected. So at that point, I didn't know that there was any other injuries to him. After the paramedics had put Elliot on a removable stretcher, I indicated that Benjamin was hurt and I needed to go bring him with us when we went to the hospital. After I went over to him to pick him up, I had looked down and I had realized that he had an open fracture to his left leg.
Oh. Okay, so compound means the bone is completely broken. Open means the bone is going through the skin. That is really painful because remember, I have already explained that right along the bones, any long bone, your artery, vein, and nerve runs with the bone for protection. So anytime that is insulted to that degree, there is a huge amount of pain. I don't know which bone he said was sticking out, but let me tell you, I have gone to plenty of scenes where I am taking off a sock or I'm taking off pants, cutting pants, cutting socks, and I'm like, please, please, please don't let the bone be sticking out because it's so angulated. I'm just hoping I'm not going to see bone. The other problem with having that injury is the level of infection. Bones are not meant to be exterior exposed. It's just not meant to be exposed to things. I mean, we have openings. We have our eyes. They have lashes. They have mucous membranes around them that help the bacteria to keep things from coming in that shouldn't come in. We have mouths and noses. We have little hairs in our noses to make sure that the whatever dust and stuff doesn't continue into our bodies. And also there's all the flora and the bacteria. We have bacteria. We are more bacteria than we are human cells. It's true. And it's meant to be that way so that things don't enter that shouldn't enter. If you have something, people back in the old days when we used to pierce, or how many holes do you need in your head? But if you have your bone coming out or a bone coming out here, that is an entry point for infection. It needs to be protected with a sterile dressing. It needs to be covered, and it's extremely painful.
So what did you do?
I picked him up, and then we ran with the paramedics down to they called it the casualty collection point, or the point where all the ambulances were caring for individual folks.
And did you ride in the ambulance with Elliot and Ben, or did they go separately?
We went together.
Okay.
I would have done that too.
We went to WAUKESHA Memorial Hospital.
You have somebody who's had a loss of consciousness. That's a higher level. Then you have somebody who may or may not have a loss of consciousness, but it was able to at least ambulate to some degree, even with a broken bone. They're still able to ambulate if they're able to stand up. So that tells me a lot about their neurological status. That person's not as high of a level, but the one with a definite loss of consciousness is. We still have head injury on the other one, but they're alert and oriented. I'm taking them both at the same time if I can.
And what happened once you were at WAUKESHA Memorial Hospital? What did you see in general?
Yeah, I mean, I was working in the city. We go to WAUKESHA Memorial Hospital quite a bit, and I have never seen anything like this in my entire life. It was pretty much chaos. When we first got to the hospital, there was some sort of physician or EMT that was actually triaging individuals with, I believe it was permanent marker, and they were triaging individuals on their forehead of what level of injury they needed. And based on that, this kind of directed work, they had gone inside the hospital. So when we had gone into the hospital, we were directed into the waiting room. And at that point, we were still on kind of like stretchers or backboards. We were placed in the waiting room, and we were just waiting until we could be attended to by some of the staff.
At that point in the hospital too, they're going to convert some of those larger areas into patient care areas. And they have portable oxygen that can be brought in, portable monitors. All of those things will be brought in each area. The portable curtains, or maybe no curtains, maybe just mattresses, maybe just whatever it is, cots. We had cots for some reason. When we do things like marathons, we'll set up a tent, and the tent will have cots. This is what they'll lay down on, and they can take those things readily available at the hospital, or EMS will bring them, and wherever it resides in that jurisdiction. And even FEMA or MEMA, which are the emergency medical agencies, or for nationally, and for your state, I guess in that area would be WEMA, and they have resources where they will bring cots and things. And we may not have enough cervical collars and head blocks for everybody, so they'll bring like ones that are made out of cardboard or something that just flip up, and that can be used in those cases, so that we have a number. And they may not be the wonderful reusable quality, but they'll get the job done. So he's seeing it's massive.
And did both Benjamin and Elliot receive treatment at WAUKESHA Memorial Hospital?
Yes.
What treatment did they receive, if you know?
Elliot received treatment for a severe concussion. He had a severe ankle sprain. They did a CT scan. And then with Benjamin, he ended up spending the night because the same thing, concussion. They did a CT scan, but then he also had surgery on his broken leg that night.
Okay. So an open fracture is generally a surgical fix. It's not always just, you have to put the bone back together, and especially in a child. Okay, so a concussion. Let's cover concussion. Concussion is not a physical injury. This is how I used to teach it. Think of it as a cup of coffee. You're carrying a cup of full coffee, and you just got this coffee from Starbucks, and they didn't have any lids on the coffee. All of your neurotransmitters are kind of like that. They go places in your brain, telling your brain, or the neurotransmitters go down your nerves in your body, taking messages, carrying all sorts of hormonal messages, all sorts of things. So you're carrying this open cup of coffee, and in these transmitters, and there's a certain amount for each that's appropriate. So they're open mugs, and if you get hit in the head hard enough, or you get jolted hard enough, that coffee's going to spill over, and the coffee goes, or the neurotransmitter goes where it shouldn't be. This causes all kinds of symptoms that can be, because remember, your brain tells you things. So in other words, you've jolted it, those neurotransmitters spill out, go places where they're not supposed to go, and that causes confusion, it causes emotional anger, sometimes sadness, it causes clumsiness, it causes nausea, vomiting, it causes all sorts of things. But it's not a physical injury, it's more an injury of shaking that to spill those neurotransmitters where they're not supposed to be. It can take weeks to months for all of that to absorb and get back to where it's supposed to go and working the way it's supposed to work. So think of a concussion as, yes, it's a physical cause, but it's more of a neuroelectrical injury. The brain is a complicated thing.
Now, you stated initially when the car was coming towards the back of your group, you thought it may have been someone that just accidentally got on the Christmas parade route, correct?
Objection. That was not the form of the question, or answer rather.
Asked and answered, sustained.
So after having your initial thought, did your thought change at some point that this isn't a misguided vehicle?
Yes.
And what did it change to?
Objection. Leading the witness.
Overruled.
After the vehicle had come through and struck our group, and then as I looked back at all the carnage behind us, it was pretty, my thought then that we were involved in some sort of terrorist act.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Terrorist act. That's probably what it looked like.
Overwhelming fear, overwhelming panic amongst everyone in the downtown Waukesha.
After the vehicle went through your group, did you ever observe it stop?
I did not.
I'm going to show you on the screen in front of you, Exhibit 140. I'm going to have it displayed in front of you and let me know when it's on your screen.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to play approximately 5 seconds. It's a 1 minute and 26-second clip. I'm going to play the first 5 seconds and see if you recognize this video.
Yes.
We can stop it and go back to 00. Does it accurately reflect what you observed on November 21st, 2021?
Yes.
Objection to the relevancy. Who took the video?
Overruled.
Does this video contain footage of the Waukesha Catholic community in the parade on that date?
Objection. Hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Oh, okay. I would move State's Exhibit 140 into evidence and ask that it be published to the jury with sound.
Objection. Still hearsay.
The objection's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 140 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
And I'd ask that it start playing now.
Maybe, we'll see. I mean, it's actually at the Elks Club Lodge. It's like, see, it's really cool.
Or maybe. I mean, I went with like a friend. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's really...
Is it on Thanksgiving?
Saturday, November 20th, 2021.
Honey, that passed.
What?
That passed. Oh, yeah. It's the 20th today.
Oh,
Right?
that was...
Oh, no, it's the 21st.
Ooh, so it already did already.
It happened yesterday.
Yep, it happened already. Ah, whatever. I don't know. That's okay, whatever.
Everybody gets started. Oh, those outfits are so cute! Young lady, where is your winter jacket? No.
Wow, that is one of the worst sounds, I think, so far on any of the videos. Wow, okay.
Did you see a red SUV traveling westbound in that video?
Yes.
Would that be consistent with what you saw coming from behind you on November 21st prior to what you just described?
Objection. How do we know the direction? How do we know it's westbound?
Your objection's noted. It's overruled. The witness may answer.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to show you some still shots from that video and just ask if they accurately reflect what you observed.
Objection to the relevancy.
I have to see them. Are you going to do that electronically or hand them to the bailiff?
I'd like to do it electronically if I can.
Go ahead.
Show Exhibit 135 just to the witness. Sir, do you identify that as a still shot taken from the Exhibit 140?
I recognize the photo as you're seeing is from the video.
Yes.
Yes.
And there are, do you see arrows What does this photo reflect to you? Sorry.
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
This photo represents individuals from our group in the parade walking in front of, I believe, Magellan's, I think.
And are there names on this diagram?
Yes.
And do they appear to be associated with people within this group?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
How is that depicted?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
The names are depicted by red arrows pointing to the individuals.
And do they accurately reflect the names of the individuals that they're pointing, that the arrows are connected to?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask that Exhibit 135 be admitted and published to the jury.
Objection to the relevancy.
Overruled. Exhibit 135 is received. Permission to publish is granted. Keep in mind it takes a little bit for the jury to see it, at least on the monitors in the jury box.
It appears that the jury now can see it in front of them. So with regard to this one, if you can just circle Jose Perales Alvarez.
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
Juan Marquez, if you see him. Marisol Lopez Gutierrez. Gregorio Romelia Perez. And Maria Perez.
Well, when I circled Gregoria, I believe I kind of got rid of Maria there. But
Is that helpful?
Yeah, Maria's right next to Gregoria.
Okay, thank you. This can be taken off. Next, I'm going to do the exact same thing with a couple more pictures. The next one would be Exhibit 136. I'll have it shown in front of you. Let me know when it's on your screen.
I see it.
Okay. If you can describe for the jury what you're seeing in Exhibit 136.
Something very similar to the last exhibit.
I'm sorry. Is there an objection?
Leading the witness.
That's not leading. It's overruled. You may answer.
So the photograph appears to be a still photo from a video, similar to the last, with names with arrows corresponding to those individuals.
And do the arrows corresponding to the individuals and the names, are they accurate?
In my screen, there's
Yeah, there's a box that appears to be from
There you
the
go.
user. There you go.
Okay.
It needs to be removed.
Yes, it's accurate.
Okay. And do you see yourself in this photograph?
I do.
Okay. I would ask that this 136 be admitted and published to the jury.
Exhibit 136 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Objection. Why? Where's his name if he's in the video?
That's not an objection. That's a question. You can certainly ask that during cross-examination, but it's just
Not an objection.
Go ahead, ask your next question.
I guess I'm waiting for it to be
It's not an
published.
We'll do that.
Okay. And then a confirmation from the jury that they can see it. Sir, first of all, do you see yourself in this photograph?
Yes.
Can you circle where you're at?
Objection. Why is no name on it? What's the
Overruled.
relevancy of it?
Overruled. You may answer the question.
That's right.
Thank you. And again, the names you've testified are associated with the appropriate people, is that correct?
Yes.
Can you circle Lori Loken? Maria Alvarez Dominguez. Ashley Perales Alvarez. Margaret Pachulis. Eileen Perales Alvarez. Yamilet Perales Alvarez. And I think you can
You-
possibly see her legs.
Yeah, she's wearing gray pants. I'm sorry, green kind of leggings, but you can't necessarily see her face in this photo. So, but her green pants are right there.
Okay. Camila Perez Gonzalez. And Benjamin Hallmark.
Somebody's little kids.
Thank you. We can clear the screen. Next, I'll go to 137. And again, when we're looking at these photos, these are all from the same video. Are they from the same video?
It appears so.
Okay. And approximately what location are these taken in relationship to where your group was physically impacted by the car?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
This was probably about a block prior to us being struck. I think this is right around the 300 block of West Main Street, kind of by Donnie Boy's, Magellan's, Curry Insurance area.
And would this be consistent with what you believe generally the formation would have been when your group was impacted?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes,
Okay. I'm going to show you 137
I see it.
and ask you the same questions. Does this appear to be a still shot from the video that you saw in Exhibit 140?
Yes.
And what does it depict?
Depicts Jason Petchloff, William Mitchell, and Father Pat Heppe walking in the parade route holding a banner.
And are there names on that?
Yes.
Are they associated with the people you've just identified
Yes.
correctly?
Correct.
I'd ask that Exhibit 137 be admitted into evidence and published.
Objection. Where's the relevancy?
Overruled. Exhibit 137 has received permission to publish as granted.
It's not relevant. Darrell, these are the people you ran over, Darrell. It's relevant. Where's the relevant? Why? Because you're not running over them right now in that picture? Why can't they identify you? Why aren't you the center of attention?
And again, if you can
Frustrating.
circle Jason Peckloff, William Mitchell, Father Heppe. Thank you.
Is that to come up for the jurors?
Oh, sorry.
We'll wait.
I apologize.
That's not He'll have to redo that. It was cleared before the jury got it, so go ahead and redraw your circles.
Okay. Can you identify Jason Peckloff, William Mitchell, and Father Heppe? Thank you. You can clear the screen. And finally, 128. I believe 128 may have already been admitted into evidence. I'd ask that be published to the jury.
Did they?
And do you see the name David Marquez on the screen?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
Yes.
And do you see David Marquez in the picture?
Yes.
Can you circle him? Thank you. You can clear that exhibit. I would.
Hold on.
Oh,
Jury does not
you
have it
some.
yet.
Well, at least someone's.
I'm trying.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. It now is in the view of the jury. I'd ask that it be cleared.
All right, thank you.
Finally, Exhibit 15, which has previously been admitted into evidence. I'd ask that it be published to the jury.
Did they?
And I would ask that they give me a signal when it's on the screen. Sir, have you seen this map before?
Yes.
And what is this a map of?
This is a map of the parade route, and it also appears to indicate where certain groups on the parade route that were impacted during this incident.
And is there any type of delineation as to exactly where the parade route, where it started and where it went to?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
I don't see any clear delineation in regards to an arrow, but the parade started up towards Maine and White Rock and ends towards Maine and Wisconsin.
Do you see a purple line on that exhibit?
Yes.
What does that reflect?
Objection, leading the
Overruled.
witness.
The parade route.
Hold on, I'm sorry, what was your
Leading the
objection?
witness.
Leading, did you say? Overruled, you may answer.
It indicates the parade route.
So directing your attention
It was kind of funny. She actually, like, wait a minute. What? No, you're totally wrong. Bye.
to the area where the Catholic communities of Waukesha, where there's a list of names. Do you see that?
Yes.
And are all those people that are listed in that box, were they in the roadway at the time that the red SUV went through your group?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And again, it's there's a line with that box that's associated with this a yellow star. What's the significance of that, if you know?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
That would be the general area where we were when we were struck.
Thank you. You can clear the screen, sorry. Now I'm going to go to Exhibit 160. And I'm just going to ask if this, the clip is 50 seconds long. I'm going to show you approximately 20 seconds of the clip and see if you recognize it. Do you recognize that clip? We stopped the clip, I'm sorry. We stopped it at 12 seconds. Do you recognize that clip?
Yes.
Does that accurately depict what occurred near your group, the Catholic community, on November 21st of last year?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd ask that Exhibit 160 is admitted and published for the jury.
Objection.
Exhibit 160 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Okay.
He doesn't care.
No one's giving me a...
This is obviously a video that shows him hitting people because you know that they're not putting those exhibits up on the YouTube feed. Okay. And look at this face of I don't give an F. Like he has no F's in his bag. You can look at this whole box and there's nothing in there. Nothing. Look how big my arrow got. That was kind of cool. But he doesn't care. Look at his evil dead expression. How is somebody so horrible? Ugh.
Thumbs up. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something. Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. If we can play this clip from 0 to 50 seconds, which is the length of the clip. The 4 people that you saw sliding through the screen from left to right, did you recognize those people?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 126, which is a still shot from that video. If you can, it'll pop up on your screen. If you can tell me if it accurately represents that video, that still shot from a video. That video.
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Yes.
And I said it be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
Exhibit 126 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Sir, do you, can you identify each of the people that are shown in this still shot by saying their name and circling their position?
Yeah.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
This is, I'm going to do it by circling.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Jason Petchloff on his back in the roadway towards the south side of the road. This is Marisol Lopez, kind of in the middle of the roadway. This is Jose Perales, just in front of Jason, a little further to the west, but on the south side of the roadway. And then Gregoria Perez, kind of further to the west in the roadway, and then in the middle.
Okay, so let's just take a minute to acknowledge that he has just identified people after they were struck, laying on the roadway injured. He has already testified that he couldn't move his own kids out of the path. He himself was struck on the foot and ankle and didn't have an injury, but definitely was struck. I would call that an injury. He said he had some kind of abrasion, so that's an injury. His one kid has a broken leg, 2 of them with concussions, which are serious head injuries. I don't think we take them as seriously as we should. They are serious, long-standing, takes a while to recover injuries. And now he's identifying people who are, look at his face, he's distressed. That is the face of distress in a normal human being. And then there was Darrell's dumb face. Ugh.
Thank you. One last video. Sorry, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 154. I'm going to play the first 5 seconds for you and ask you if it depicts what you observed on November 21st of last year.
Objection, what's the relevancy?
Overruled. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a video taken, it appears to be from an individual walking, but this is like the aftermath of right after the vehicle had come through our group.
Have you seen this video clip before?
I have.
Are you able to identify many of the people in this video clip?
Objection, hearsay. There's
Overruled.
a lot of people in here.
It's not hearsay.
I'd ask that,
Go ahead.
be admitted into evidence and published to the jury.
Exhibit 154 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Sir, I'm going to take you through this video and I'm going to pause it at certain places and ask you if you recognize anyone that's in the picture and describe their position. If we can start the video. If we can pause it. Oh, if you can go back 2 seconds. There we go. It stopped at 11 seconds. Do you recognize that person on the ground?
Yeah, right here, that's Margaret Petrulius.
If we can continue on from 11 seconds. And stop. Do you recognize the person depicted at 13 seconds?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. Screen, I'm sorry.
You may answer.
My last screenshot is up there from the last time. I don't know if you want that clear.
Okay, clear that. Thank you.
Laying on the ground right here in the blue, that's Lori Locken.
And if you can continue on from 13 seconds. You can pause it. Did you see anyone else? I'm sorry.
Just prior to that, I could see where my wife and the other kids were with Benjamin on the curb, kind of behind Lori.
If we go back 2 seconds, do you think that would do it?
Yeah. So, yep, right there.
And if you can circle them.
So this is my daughter right here, and then right behind her in underneath that blanket, that's where Benjamin is. He's being attended to by some of the individuals there.
Okay. If you can just say stop if you see Elliot as this goes on from 14 seconds.
Stop.
Where's Elliot?
So he's being attended to. He's right with this group of people right there.
Okay, so let me pause this to say this gentleman is basically narrating or the video of somebody showing the injured people after Darrell ran them over with the SUV. And he's narrating for, here's an injured person I know, here's my child, here's the one I couldn't find. And this is emotionally traumatic. This was emotionally probably scarring for these people. I know that when I narrated in court, in a court proceeding, the video of myself getting assaulted to the judge and to the person who was claiming he didn't remember assaulting me and breaking my jaw, I actually had to take 3 months off of work. Like, I could not even people. Everybody was disgusting to me. And look at his face. I'm hoping he didn't respond as negatively as I did. Look at his face. Look at how pale and distressed I just can't. So, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is this is traumatic. Reliving this for them is traumatic.
And you recognize that to be the position you went to when you found him?
Objection, hearsay. We can't see who that is.
It's not hearsay. Overruled.
Yes.
And that was at 20 seconds. We can clear that. And continue on. Sorry. If we pause, do you recognize anyone in this section of the video?
Yeah. So with the blue sneakers, he's lying this way. That'd be Father Pat Heppy.
Oh my God.
Laying down right here is Maria Perez. And then being attended to by these folks in front of the banner, that'd be William Mitchell.
If we can continue on. And if you see someone from your group on the ground, if you can say pause.
Okay.
And we're continuing on from 26 seconds.
Look at him. Ugh. Look at that dead look in his eyes.
Can we pause here? Do you recognize that person?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yeah, there's two people. Marisol Lopez is right there, and then Adir Lopez is right here with the gray jacket.
And what's their relationship to one another?
Mother and child.
We can continue on from 41 seconds. I'm sorry, is that still Marisol?
Objection.
We can pause here.
Pause. Who is that, if you know?
So this is still Marisol.
Said objection.
Overruled.
So this last yellow line I just drew, that's still Marisol. Right here where I circled is being covered by a red blanket. That would be Gregoria Perez. And then over here, that would be Jason Pechloff.
Okay, to lighten the mood just ever so slightly, Coffee Cake 1803, thank you very much. It says, believe me, the priest would have remembered being hit in front of Planned Parenthood. Thank you, irony. You're right, the Catholic community was actually hit in front of their Planned Parenthood clinic. Oh my gosh. Okay, whew. That lightened things up a little bit. Thank you.
Stop the video at 58 seconds. Sir, I'm going to direct you to Exhibit 162. We're almost done. 2 more exhibits.
I know the video continued. I just didn't know if you wanted, because I apologize.
That's fine. Let me go back,
Okay.
sir. Let me redirect your attention to Exhibit 154, where we were, which was 58 seconds. If we can publish that for the jury, since it has been admitted into evidence. And again, if you could
Objection. Are we going to another exhibit?
That's
Just
not
said
an
162.
objection.
We're back at 154, she indicated.
That's not an objection. That's a question. And okay, you can ask it.
Is that okay?
But you can't keep up.
Do you see anyone else, or should I continue playing?
I think you should continue playing.
Let's continue.
Pause. So at 136, this would be Jose Perales.
Thank you, and that was at 136. Okay. Thank you. Did you viewed this video before?
Yes.
And do you know, are there any other victims depicted from Catholic communities?
Yes.
Okay, then let's keep playing it from 136.
136.
Pause.
And we paused at 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Who do you identify in this clip?
this would be Yamilet Perales.
And let's continue. 136, 230, I mean. Can we pause?
Yep. So this would be me right here, and then Elliot's lying down on the blanket.
And that's at 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're good. Now let's continue to Exhibit 162. Is it in front of you?
Yes.
Do you recognize the person depicted in, actually, do you recognize this person?
Yes, that's Eileen Perales.
Okay. And is that how she appeared on November 21st of last year?
Yes.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
And is this a picture taken from a video from the parade?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
Yes.
I'd ask that the court admit Exhibit 162 into evidence and publish it to the jury.
Objection, hearsay, and relevancy.
The objections are overruled. Exhibit 152 has received permission to publish is granted.
162.
I'm sorry, 162. No, publish it.
If we can clear my green. Thank you. If you can just let me know when you see it.
Look at these people. What this is, that box. Look at that sweet little face.
Okay. You stated that you could see Eileen Perales in this
He's staring at her like she's lunch meat or something.
video, or this clip,
Oh, gross.
and can you point her out specifically, her and the hat that she's wearing on her head?
Yeah. I think Perales is wearing kind of like a black coat, some sort of pink leggings, and then she's wearing some sort of like maroon
She looks so happy.
colored hat with white on it, like white stripes.
Okay. If we can save this screen capture, and this would be 162A.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
If I can then,
So 162A has been captured.
and we can clear it then.
You can clear that, Teresa.
And then I'd ask to publish Exhibit 92, which has previously been admitted into evidence. So do you see the hat that's in, oh, hold on.
Are we boring you, Darrell? Do you have somewhere to be?
Sir, in terms of the appearance of that hat, I'm not going to ask you if it's the exact same hat that was on Eileen's head in Exhibit 162, but is the same, is that the same type of hat in terms of has the same wording on it, same color, same palm color as the hat that Eileen was wearing in Exhibit 162.
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled. You may answer.
It looks remarkably close, same color, same patterns of the lines, the writing, and then with the top on it. Yes.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Okay, he's ready. He turned around for
You're
you,
crossed,
Darrell.
sir.
He's having a temper tantrum.
So you saw all those videos that were shown, all exhibits rather, all 12, 13 of them. You saw all those before today?
I don't recall there was 12 videos. To the best of my knowledge,
126, 15, 137, 136, 135, 140, 128, 160, 154, 162, 92, at least 11 or 12.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to strike your comment because you cannot testify. You did not let him answer. Let him answer first, and then you can ask follow-up. The jury will disregard the statement made by Mr. Brooks. Go ahead.
I believe there was only 3 or 4 videos, but there was numerous screenshots or photos taken from those videos.
That's why I said exhibits. Have you seen all exhibits before today?
I had seen those exhibits, yes.
And do you know who took any of those exhibits, the videos or still shots?
No, sir.
Irrelevant.
So how were you able to see them?
Can you rephrase the question, please?
How were you able to see them if you don't know who took them?
You showed them.
I saw them on the screen. I'm not sure I'm following your question.
Before today, you said you saw them before today. That's what you just said. So I'm asking, I asked after that, do you know who took them? You said no. So how could you, I guess I'm,
He's asking if he didn't take the video and or the screenshots and or the pictures or whatever it is those exhibits were, and he doesn't know who took them, like it was just some stranger off the street, how did he get to see them before we got to court? Because they were turned over as evidence and they showed the witnesses and or the police and or the detective and or any number of ways that this guy could have seen these things, considering who he is. He's A, a witness, B, he's a police detective, C, he's, just any number of ways.
asking, how would you know
You don't know what you're asking, stupid.
if you don't know who took these videos? How were you able to see them before today?
I believe
Show
they were
them.
collected by the police department as evidence.
As evidence, yes.
And that's how you saw them?
Yes.
That's how we were able to view them afterwards, yes.
Do you know when you viewed them?
I don't recall.
Did you view all 12 of them in their entirety at the same time, or were they at different dates?
Back to the form of the question.
Grounds.
Did you view them all in their entirety? Again, it makes it seem like he's referring to videos, and if he is, that's fine. If he could just clarify videos or exhibits.
Sustained as to the form of the question, please rephrase.
Exhibits.
Can you just repeat the question, please?
At what time did you see all the exhibits in their entirety? Was it the same day or was it different days?
I don't recall specifically. I just reviewed the exhibits, the photos, not the videos, but the photos, as you're explaining in these exhibits, prior, just in preparation of my testimony.
In preparation of your testimony? What do you mean by in preparation of?
Actually, fair question. So he's going to go for the credibility, is this guy being told what to say? Whereas really, in truth, probably what happened is they not tested, but questioned, interviewed the witnesses to see which ones had details that would be supporting their case. So in other words, if I'm a witness and I'm looking at these things and I don't know who these people are, they're probably not going to pick me. They're probably not going to pick me. But he knows he can recognize it from, so he's a good witness. That doesn't mean they fed him but fair question, okay? Did they feed you the material? Let's see if Darrell actually gets to the point. I doubt it.
Preparing my testimony for court, making sure that everything maybe kind of recall my memory, anything to that nature, making sure that everything is accurate in what I'm going to testify to.
If everything you're going to testify to is truthful, why would you need to prepare for it?
Objection.
Grounds.
Why, Darrell? You don't prepare for your lies. That's why they're so stupid. Wait till we get to that part.
Sustained.
Have we already got that?
Question.
Stupid.
Why would you need testimony preparation?
Because they're pictures.
This is a pretty significant incident. I wanted to make sure that I was prepared fully for being here and testifying.
Wouldn't it be easy to just come in and recount what you saw?
No.
Objection. Argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained. Please reprise.
Is it fair to say that it would be fairly easy to state what you saw that evening?
Yes.
Why don't you state what you saw?
So why exactly did you feel the need that you had to prep yourself?
Objection. Argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained, also asked and answered.
Darrell,
Direct your
allow us.
attention to exhibit.
Darrell, allow us to introduce you to the truth. I know you're not acquainted with the truth.
Exhibit 154, which is a video. So that's clear for the record, not a still frame. It's a video.
You want to put up for him?
I want it put up for him.
All right, it's been received before. Put it up, please.
Can we go to 41 seconds?
Sure. Thank you to the state for assisting. 41 seconds.
Don't
you
say
said?
41
thank you, or
seconds.
please.
Is it fair to
Hold
say
on.
that?
Do you want to wait until the jury has it in front of them? Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. There's a delay. Sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short. Seems to be long right now.
We'll try to settle him down. You're not going to do it.
All right, we're good. Go ahead.
So in this exhibit, which is a video that's paused at 41 seconds, we can see two people laying on the ground. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Can you see any of the two people's faces right now as it's paused?
No.
So it would be fair to say that you can't positively say who that is from this part of the video that's
He
paused
was
right now.
there. Darrell, you stupid idiot. He was there. So he knows what the blankets look like. He knows who was wrapped. He knows where they were, the location. He saw them. This video is not a static incident.
Well, based on my experience, based on clothing descriptions, obviously Idira and Marisol are mother and child, and body structures, that's how I'm able to identify who they are.
What do you mean by body structure?
Well, Idira is a little bit smaller and Marisol's a little bit larger, and that's how I have memory of who she is.
Would you agree that they're kind of like bunched up, like kind of balled up?
Yes, Darrell. After you ran them over with your 3,300-pound vehicles like a monster, slothing through this Christmas parade, stealing any joy and security from these people. They were balled up on the ground. Yes. Yes. Are you happy? It's like what why is that question like why would you point that out? Look at these people balled up after I ran them over.
I would agree that adhere is yes.
Can you see faces?
No, sir.
You're not going to shake him, Darrell.
So it would be fair to say that you don't know for sure who that is.
Yeah, I know. He knows.
I'm pretty confident that's Marisol and Adira.
Pretty confident?
I'm very confident.
He's confident.
So why not be very confident the first time that question was asked? Grounds.
Argument it is.
Grounds.
Thank you. Grounds.
Let's go to 58 seconds and pause. Right here in front of us, we see 3 people kneel down. We see someone with a pinkish blanket covering them, and we see a lady with a black coat with a white kind of like top to it. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the face of the person laying on the ground under the pink blanket?
No, sir.
Would it be fair to say that you don't know for sure who that is?
As I described before, I'm very confident that that's Marisol that's laying on the ground.
And how can you tell that from the picture that we're looking at now?
Well, not specifically just from this picture, but like I stated before, as the video was moving, we could see clothing descriptions, body structure, who she's laying next to.
Is it fair to say that the exhibit is not moving right now? It's paused.
You are such an asshole. You are I'm trying so hard not to swear. I used to do that when I'd go to work. I'd say, I'm not going to swear today. I'm not going to swear. And it didn't take 20 minutes before my mouth was just flying with a string of swear words. You are such an asshole, Darrell. But in this second, you can't tell. It's just like, okay, you can see me. You see I have brown eyes. Okay, wait a minute. You can't tell right now. You can't tell what they are right now. They could be purple. They could be purple like Elizabeth Taylor's.
Yes, sir.
And it's paused with not being able to see who's under the pink blanket. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
So how can you say for sure who that is?
Because, this is how he gets into trouble with that music video later on.
If I was to just view this video or this photo without any other context, you're probably correct. I probably wouldn't be able to identify any particular person, but because of the video and how it moved and how I was able to see people, I was able to confirm that'd be Marisol.
And you came to that conclusion because you've seen these videos before today, or these exhibits rather before today. Would that be fair to say?
No, I come to the conclusion with my memory of being there at that night.
But you did state, just so we have clarity, that you in fact saw these exhibits before today. Would that be fair to say?
Objection asked and answered.
Grounds.
It has been asked and answered, but I'll let the witness answer that question again.
Yes, sir.
Towards the, I don't know where that direction would be. I'm guessing that would, if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it, it'd be towards the right.
Right, this way?
We're coming back a little bit more right where the lady with the white coat is.
Mhm.
You see a few people, it looks like three, kneeled over someone that is under a blanket with, it looks red with like snowflakes or something on it. You can see like a black, I don't know if that's like a shoe or, I'm guessing that's a shoe or a boot or something to that effect. Is that fair to say that you can see that?
Yes.
Can you tell who that is just looking at it right now?
I know that that's Gregoria, yes.
Can you tell who it is looking at it right now? Can you see their face? Can you identify them right now?
I cannot see their face.
So it'd be fair to say that you're not sure who that is.
No, he's not going to.
I am sure who that is.
He is not going to bend to your stupid narcissistic semantics.
And you come to that conclusion based on what we're looking at right now at this moment.
Objection.
Grounds.
This characterizes this witness's testimony.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Thank you. Screwed up, Darrell.
Let's go to 136. Same exhibit in pause. Is it fair to say we can see someone with laying on the ground? They have like a bluish jacket. You can only see one arm, so the sleeve. The jacket is blue. It looks like they have like something red next to, which is obviously a lady in a gray jacket, white hat. A guy in a red, looks like a hoodie, and someone else to their right, I would say, and a jacket and a cap with looks like a baseball cap. Would it be fair to say that you can see that?
Yes.
And the person that's laying on the ground, can you see their face?
No, sir.
So would it be fair to say that you don't know for sure who that is?
Is he trying to imply that if he can't, if we have to throw out all of his identifying, information, we can't take any of that for truth. Let's say we have to throw the whole thing out. Maybe that person's laying on the ground for some other reason besides Darrell ran them over with a 3,300 pound vehicle, right?
I'm sure I know who that is.
Just because they're laying on the
Based on
ground
what we're
doesn't mean
looking at
Darrell
now,
ran
you
them
can
over.
tell who that is.
Based on my recollection of the incident that night, I know who that is.
Based on what we're looking at right now on the screen, can you tell who that is? You
Yes,
can
sir.
see their face.
I know who that is. I cannot see their face.
So it'd be fair to say from this picture, you're not sure who that is.
Objection. This characterizes this
Grounds.
witness's testimony.
Sustained.
To the right of the screen, right here. Can't tell how many people is kneeled down right there, but it's obvious that they're attending to somebody. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Can you see who that is that they're attending to in any way?
Not from this vantage point, no.
So it would be fair to say that you don't know who that is that they're attending to, correct?
I know who they're attending to.
And you can tell that by what we're looking at right now?
No.
Objection.
Grounds.
This characterizes the testimony.
Grounds.
Witness testified as this video was going through who he believed each person was.
Who he believed. But we're looking right now.
Mr. Brooks, let me rule on the objection.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Thank you. Overruled. He may answer.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Can you tell from what we're looking at right now? Can you tell who that is that they're attending to?
You cannot see that that is Jason Petchoff behind them, but that is who is laying on the ground right there.
And you can tell that by what we're looking at right now. You can see who that is.
No.
No, based on my recollection of the incident, is why I know who
That is why
I'm
he's
saying
a
referring to
witness.
what we're looking at, not your recollection.
That is why he is a witness, Darrell. He's a witness because you can take what is in these videos and put some context to it, put the truth behind it. Darrell, allow me to introduce you to the truth. Can't wait to hear him say, well, the truth of the matter, the truth of the matter.
Election, what we're currently looking at right now. Can you tell who that is that's being attended to from based on what we're looking at right at this moment?
You cannot see who the individual is.
Can we go to 2 minutes and 30 seconds and pause? Can we erase that circling arrow?
It's been done.
Okay, I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right in front of us, we can see is a group of people standing over someone who appears to be laying on the ground. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
It looks like they have a Scooby-Doo blanket over them. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
By what we're looking at right now at this moment, can you tell who's under the Scooby-Doo blanket?
I know who that is.
Can you tell by what we're looking at this moment? At this moment right now, can you tell who's under the Scooby-Doo blanket?
No, sir.
Can we go to 241 and pause? Would it be fair to say that right now we're looking at what appears to be could be a police officer, some kind of law enforcement, could be security guard or anything, but some type of law enforcement. We see someone, it looks like a woman who you can't see the top of her head, but you can see like her chin and her bottom lip has a black jacket. And right in between those, the law enforcement and the woman, you can see that someone's laying on the ground, and you see 3 people attending to them. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell by what we're looking at right now? Can you say exactly who that is?
100% confident because I'm in that photo.
And is that you standing over the front of them?
I'm standing over my son.
Or not standing, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Kneeling in over the top of who's on the ground.
Yes, my son is crying because he just got struck by a vehicle and I'm trying to console him.
That wasn't the question. That's you kneeling over with the hat, and it looks like a grayish, I don't know if that would be a hoodie, but like looks like it's some like bluish black to the sleeve. Would that be you?
I'm wearing a gray sweatshirt. My son is wearing the blue jacket.
I could be mixed up. I apologize for that. So it would be safe to say, by what you just said, you were 100%. You were adamant, 100% that you knew who that was. Mm-hmm. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
But you didn't have that same enthusiasm for everybody else that we were just looking at. Would that be fair to say?
Objection. This characterizes this witness's testimony.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Thank you. Just
Also
sustained.
argumentative.
Yeah. Thank you. Unless you're being a big asshole.
And out of all the exhibits,
Are we done with this exhibit?
Oh yeah, we're done. I'm sorry.
All right, please take it down, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Go ahead.
Out of all the exhibits that you were shown during the initial questioning, you're not sure who took any of those videos?
No, sir.
There was quite a few exhibits that were shown. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And do you recall exactly the estimate of how far the vehicle was from you when you first saw it?
When I first saw it, that's when the initial scream started. I think it was about 200 feet behind me.
And how did you come to that estimation of distance?
When I first saw it, I believed it, my recollection that it was kind of near Curry Insurance. So I would take that as like almost like a half city block. So it was on the other side of Maple Avenue. So I just estimated that based on my experience with feet.
So you felt that that estimate was pretty accurate?
I don't know.
Or did you know for sure?
No, I don't know for sure.
So you're casting big
You
doubt
stated
there.
that your 9-year-old was in your right hand and your 3-year-old was in your left hand. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
You stated at some point that your 9-year-old was ripped, or you didn't know if your 9-year-old was ripped out of your hand. Can you explain what do you mean by ripped?
At the point where I lost contact with them is about the point where the vehicle had come through. So I didn't know if it was the force of the vehicle taking him away from me that forced our hands to be separated, or if we had just separated hands prior to that. But based on my recollection, it was simultaneously as the vehicle had passed through us.
But you did hit the child, Darrell. You did hit the child.
That 9-year-old injured?
Yeah, Elliot was thrown in the air and he was knocked unconscious.
And what happened with your 3-year-old that was in your left hand?
I threw him with my left hand towards the curb. He did not get struck.
When you say threw him, what do you mean by that? Was
I was holding
like
on to it. I'm sorry.
A quick toss, or was it like a harsh push, or define thrown?
I picked him. I was holding on to him with my left hand. I grabbed him off the air and threw him as far as I possibly could because I knew that he was going to get hit by a car.
I just needed a minute before Darrell tries to make this guy into an evil person for trying to push or throw or whatever it took to remove a 3-year-old who's going to weigh what, 20, 30 pounds maybe, and prevent them from getting struck by a dragon troll stomping and snarling through a Christmas parade.
Do you recall if he was hurt in the throat?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Overruled. He may answer.
I didn't actually see him that night because I stayed with my other son at the hospital. But as far as my recollection, I don't think he was injured from that, no.
Other than that, was he injured in any way?
No.
You made a reference to the speed. How did you come to that estimation of speed? Do you have any expertise in speed analysis in any way?
No, just my experiences driving as a motorist and being in law enforcement for 15 years, estimating vehicle speeds.
So it'd be fair to say you don't know for sure.
That's correct.
You're casting doubt there all over the place. I'm almost ready to think you're innocent.
And I assume that you were interviewed by other officers at some point. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Do you recall if it was that night or if it was in the following days?
Well, the night of the incident, I informed my department that I had been involved in the incident. So I reported it that night verbally, but a statement was later given to the department in a more formal manner.
Okay, let me stop you right there. As part of first responding, EMS, any kind of public service, not that we're public servants, we're in public service, we are required to report certain things that happen outside of work. In other words, if I were still working for the fire department and I got even a speeding ticket, I actually, and it had points and whatever, I'm found guilty of it. In other words, if you get the ticket, I think you have to also acknowledge it. But if you definitely, when you are assigned points and so forth, you have to, if it rises to like reckless driving or if you're driving drunk or something, you have to report that. I would have to actually write a special report to my lieutenant stating that I received a ticket on this date, and what the ticket was for and when I was adjudicated and whatever, you know. That being said, so he was involved in an incident. He has to report it as part of public service. Anytime you're even in the public and something happens that's significant or that you're a part of, you still have to report it. Now, being part of the parade and, just an accident happens, no. But this was large enough that that he felt he had to report it. Maybe he asked, do I need to report this? And they said yes. Whatever it is. That being said, okay, so your public service workers will have to report if they have drunk driving adjudications or whatever. That being said, I have known at least one department that I worked for that put one of those interceptors on the engine because the pump operator, oh my God, the pump operator had to have an interceptor. They put it on the fire engine. So all of those fools had to blow to start the engine. Oh my God, I can't even. Yes, that stuff happens. Oh my God. It's so embarrassing. I think he's running out of steam here. Let's hope. So this hand says 100%. What does the other hand say?
You already stated that your 9-year-old son did get struck. Did you actually see that?
No.
I did not see him get thrown in the air, no.
Even though you had him in your right arm, or right hand, rather?
Correct.
Did you see where the vehicle went after it passed you?
I did not.
Did you see anyone else get struck once it passed you?
I did not.
Oh. They stay there for a while.
In a summary of your report, do you recall stating to the officer that you were interviewed by that you saw a second unconscious person laying on the ground that you further described as a Hispanic female?
Yes, sir.
Let me see what's going on. Okay, sorry.
Would it be fair to say that
Ooh,
in your testimony here today you gave names? That'd be fair to say?
what names?
Yes, sir.
Why not in the summary of your report did you give names and just say a Hispanic female?
And I'm just going to object to the form of the question. He's indicating that it's Detective Hallmark's summary in this report. It's not been established. Okay.
It's in the form of the question.
I was referring to him already testifying that he had knowledge of everybody that was in his group.
Rephrase your question, please.
At the time of your summary, did you know the identity of the Hispanic female that you referenced?
An objection to the form of the question. It's not his summary
Ground.
per se.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
So should I say in the summary that you gave, do you recall?
Okay, in this instance, when she keeps saying sustained as to the form of the question, I think that's just a pacifier for Darrell, because the question, it misrepresents what he said, and it's not a summary he wrote. So it's not a summary of his own words. It's somebody else summarizing what they heard him say, and they might not have remembered the name he said. So, it's not to the form of the question. There is no form of this question that's going to work that I can think of.
That comment?
Objection mischaracterizes the
That's
summary.
what I'm saying.
Grounds.
Grounds. Okay, you can't have any coffee grounds. She just said it misrepresents the statement or the testimony.
Sustained as to the form of the question, please rephrase.
In the summary that was given by the officer that you gave the report to, do you recall that
Yes.
statement?
I'm sorry.
I am going to object. The witness has answered the question. Again, I would just indicate for the record that I believe what Mr. Brooks is looking at is a different officer's report that summarizes the statement that that officer received from Detective Hallmark. With that understanding that that's what it is, I would ask Mr. Brooks to maybe ask his next question with keeping that in mind.
Objection to being called that. I don't identify by that name nor consent to being called that name.
Meaning you have nothing to say and you just want to be contrary to anything that is said. She's actually trying to help you. Otherwise, you're going to stay in this circular quagmire of nothing.
And I
Next
made
question,
reference-
sir.
I made reference that it was
Next
by
question.
another officer.
Next question, please.
You're circling the drain.
You made reference to your son being attended to by two men. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, sir.
At the time of the incident, did you know who those two men were?
No, sir.
And when did you learn of the identity of those two men?
It was a couple days after the incident. I learned the identity of one individual that was attending to my son.
Do you know if they, or do you recall them giving you any additional information that you didn't have that night?
Yes.
Do you recall if they were active participants in the parade or just spectators? Did they give you that information at any time?
This individual was a spectator.
To your recollection, did the spectator tell you where they were positioned at when they attended to your son?
Yes.
I like how he's just answering this. He's not elaborating and giving him more. Got something there, Darrell? Anything? Nothing?
And who is Charles?
That'd be my 3-year-old.
He's reading the report.
And Benjamin?
That'd be my 7-year-old.
He said that.
Do you recall what happened with Benjamin when you saw the vehicle approaching?
Yeah, he was run over by the vehicle on his left leg.
Do you at any time recall making a statement in the summary that was given by another officer? Do you recall making the statement, you threw Charles and Benjamin as hard as you could towards the south curb?
Yes, sir.
If you already stated that you threw your 3-year-old, which you just said was Charles, and you also just acknowledged that you threw Benjamin.
Objection as to the characterization. He acknowledged that the summary that Mr. Brooks is reading said that he threw Benjamin.
He answered the question.
He did not. I believe there's an objection. I'll sustain it as to the form of the question. Please rephrase. It also mischaracterizes the, well, I'll just leave it at that. You may ask your question.
So did you throw Benjamin as hard as you could to the south curb, or did you see Benjamin struck by the vehicle?
So when the vehicle was coming and I threw Charlie, I knew that Ben was in front of us, so it was the same motion with my left arm to get Benjamin and Charlie out of the way. Obviously, I didn't get Benjamin completely out of the way of the vehicle.
In other words, you didn't point out that he is any discrepancy. You pointed out that the man failed to get one of his kids out of the way of your moving freight train of a terroristic attack on these people. Okay, he tried very hard to throw them both. The motion was throwing. That was the purpose of getting him out of the way, was the purpose of the throwing motion, but he failed. Okay, he failed. That's it. But you see, none of that's his fault, because you're the monster, Darrell. You're the monster. Let's not be unclear. So far, I'm not seeing any reasonable doubt. Not seeing it.
Any idea why that was not in the summary?
Why would I know?
Wow.
He answered it. He said, I don't know.
Why would he know? Why would he know? It's not his summary. Maybe because the person listening to him didn't think it was important. Maybe they forgot. Maybe they didn't get every single detail. You know, you only absorb 20% of what people tell you. It's probably why I wanted to go through this thing again. I wanted to get it really out of my system.
His answer may stand.
Then we can move on to the next train wreck. There's plenty.
Besides your children, the other people that you observed injured, did you immediately receive information what those injuries were at that time?
Can you repeat just to be clear of who you're talking about?
The other people that were with your group, not your children, but the other people that were with your group. Do you recall receiving information about their injuries at that time?
I did not receive information about their injuries.
So it would be fair to say you knew that they were hurt, but you didn't know the severity of it.
Exactly.
Is that a yes?
Yes, sir.
And besides your children, who else was with you when you went, attended the parade that evening?
Well, there was 45 of us that were walking together. But to go down to the parade, it was me and my immediate family, so it was me, my children, and my wife.
Do you recall your wife being injured in any way during the incident?
No.
Do you recall where she was when the vehicle passed you?
Yes.
Was she directly next to you, to the side of you, standing right next to you, or do you remember the general area she was at that moment?
Yeah. I thought I answered it. She was further to kind of, as we're marching, as you see in the video, further to the left and then behind.
And she didn't report any injuries of any kind.
She was, I believe she was 6 months pregnant at the time. So she went and got checked up just to make sure she wasn't injured, and no, she wasn't injured at all.
Oh my gosh. By the way, that type of stress and trauma can cause miscarriage. So she was very smart to get checked out. Very smart.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Can you redirect?
Real brief. Sir, the identifications that you made in the exhibits that were shown to you on direct examination, are you 100% confident in those identifications?
Objection.
Yes, ma'am.
Hearsay.
Sorry.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that based on?
My recollection of the incident.
Thank you. Nothing further.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may step
That
down.
was brief. Woo! Hearsay. Are you sure of your own testimony?
Ladies and gentlemen of the
Hearsay.
jury, thank you so much for your patience, as it was the court who wanted to keep moving a little bit tonight. I know we're a little bit.
All right. I don't think I recalled seeing that particular person before, so I'm glad I did watch it. And thank you very much. I know this was a very long one, and he was so like, what a gaslighting. He did a lot of arguing semantics, so a lot of narcissistic behavior on his part. But very interesting. A few details I didn't know. There was a large number of people hit in that Catholic community, and I hope they're all doing very well. Thank you so much for joining me. Like and subscribe, please. Comment. I love them. And have a great end of your weekend.